Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Where there is love, there is no question. Where there is love, there is no problem. Where there is love, there is no difficulty. Problems, questions and difficulties arise when we lack love. And therefore, the teacher says, why people are not able to apply their faculty of reason, logic in a creative manner. Why intelligent people become more destructive than the average people. If you see the terrorists or the Naxalites, they are not the kind of people who are unfit for everything. No. On the contrary, they have got tremendous abilities. Then why this happens? The only reason is this one ingredient in our personality, and that is love. And how the love can become perfect and not perverted? Perverted love is because when the love is mistaken for the lust. When we spell the word love as L-U-S-T, then the expression of that love is perversion and subsequent destruction. Therefore, how can we have the perfect love which will not putrefy to perversion? What is the way? The way is given here. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mamayo veti tattvataha saha avikampena yogena yujjate natra samshayaha. He who has recognized the divine aspect of his being and therefore is naturally able to suspect divinity in everything and being, his whole life will be divinized. But when I am identified with the wrong identity, with something very flimsy, something very insignificant, then the same becomes my expression. Therefore, if we really want to lead our life most scientifically, the first requirement is perform from the platform of right identity as to who we are. This story comes in Ramayana. When you all know the Ramayana, I'll take only the pertinent part and bring the principle out. When Ramachandra Bhagwan was asked to go to the forest, and he goes, and afterwards Bharat comes back from Himachal Pradesh. He had gone there to his mama's place. And when he comes back and he finds out this is the condition. So there he is very clear. He said, first, I am related to the Lord. And for him, the Lord was his elder brother, Bhagwan Ramachandra. And he knew for certain that he is not an ordinary mortal born in this world. In the same manner, if our relationship with the world is at the divine level, we will not be corrupted by the relations. And when we don't get corrupted by the relations, we express the absolute through the relativity. And this is the teacher says again and again. When you have love for something higher, and what is something higher? That which includes everybody and excludes nobody. That is the highest. See? Whenever our love is not all inclusive, but it is including only a part, a fraction, a biased love. A biased love will always be destructive. If you see all the saints and sages who lived in this world, worth their name, they have included everybody in the embrace of their love because they have not differentiated. Somebody is mine and somebody is not mine. What is the reason? Because they have identified themselves correctly. It is the subsequent followers who are creating the differences. See? Therefore, the teacher says, those who are committed to lead the scientific life, they have to first of all discover their correct identity. Without discovering our correct identity, our relationship cannot be perfect. And the moment the relationship is correctly understood, all the interactions will be also perfect. And this is what he says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. So those who are priti purvakam, those who are living under the influence of absolute love, and the expression of love is service. See, one day I was in Bangalore, and the group of our Sai Baba people, they have called me for some talk, and they have asked me, Swamiji, please talk about seva to all of us. We are doing seva, but we don't know what we are doing. I said, seva is very simple. When the knowledge is in the book, it is heavy. When the knowledge is transferred from the book to the brain, it becomes more heavy. You know, I know Bhagavad Gita, I know Upanishad. Do you know it? It becomes more heavy. And the load of the erudition is worse than load of carrying the library books. When this knowledge is read, collected by us, and when it is properly interacted and matured, the mature knowledge percolates and is seated in the heart. When the knowledge remains in the brain, it is erudition, scholarship, load and bondage. When the same knowledge becomes mature, it percolates to the heart. And thereafter the knowledge is labeled as love. See? Like kacha aam, paka aam. The raw mango and the ripe mango. Raw mango is not sweet. The same sourness or bitterness becomes sweet when it matures, ripens. In the same manner, when the knowledge ripens and matures, it doesn't have a place to stay in the head. It percolates, comes down to the heart. And then it accumulates so much that it has no way but to flow out. And when love flows out of our personality through two canals of our hand, it is called as service to the society. See how the whole picture is. When I have discovered my correct identity to be the absolute conscious reality, then I am no more living at the level of the head. No more I am living at the level of the lower existence. Then I have attained a perfect balance of a ripened individual called as a divine expression. And divine expression is only one, and that is unqualified love. And when this unqualified love starts expressing, it expresses only in terms of service. So, tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. So, such people who are all the time abiding in this absolute reality that they are, and this is not a struggle for them. It is a natural phenomena because of love. Please remember this basic principle. We are never taught love in any institution. Take a common example. When these mothers become first time mothers, that time the mothers, their mothers and the mother-in-laws, 101 instructions are given. Don't eat this, don't eat that, don't jump unnecessarily, and don't do this thing, and don't watch horrifying movies that will affect on your child. So many instructions are given. But never it is told, love your child, okay? You have to love your child. Nobody is required to be told. Now be attentive. Why? Because love is a natural experience of every one of us. And for the child, why the love is so intense? Because the child is my extension. See? When I come to discover that I, the pure consciousness, is the one who is extended in the form of the things and beings, will not there be a natural love for the whole world? Now be attentive. When you love somebody and think, that thinking is creative. When you hate somebody and think, that thinking is destructive. See? When the saints and sages have love for the society, they also think, and their thinking is how we can help the world. And those who are criminals, they also think, but their thinking is how can I destroy more and more. So thinking is common. Whether you are a great saint or a sage, or you are the terrorist of the highest order, both of them have to be extremely intelligent. Stupids cannot be terrorists. They have to be extremely alert. They have to be extremely capable. They have to be extremely sacrificing. Alas, their thinking is towards the destruction and not construction. What is the reason? They lack love. See, tesham satadayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. And the real love can be only when you recognize yourself reflected in others. See, for the first time, maybe about 30 years before, somebody was after me to write an article. Swami, please write an article for us. I said, no, Baba, I have never written. I don't know how to write. No, please, please, please. So I said, anyway, sit down, I'll talk to you and you write that as an article. And I went on talking. It came out such a beautiful, long poetry, a kind of a soliloquy. And then it was accepted by that particular magazine and published. And then they came in, Swamiji, your article has come out very well and it is here. So when I was looking into the magazine, the first thing I wanted to see, my article. See? Because in that article, I am reflected. Wherever there is an experience of I-ness or my-ness, love is natural and thinking is creative. This creative thinking that will lead us to the highest is called as the Buddhi Yoga. And that destructive thinking which takes us to the self-destruction is called as Buddhi Roga, the disease of thinking. And one is the asset of thinking. So, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. So, to such people who are mature in their understanding, and the maturity of the understanding is in the form of pure love for the total creation, such people are able to think in such a manner that they are able to discover the divine grace in and through every experience of our life. Friends, if I want something and if that something I get, then by default I say, by God's grace everything was all right. Now, by God's grace is the default. It has no meaning. Like, we receive so many letters from the people. Respected Swamiji, by your grace and by the grace of my Guru and by the God's grace and by the grace of our elders and by the grace of all the saints and sages. So I said, your disgraceful letter was received. So when something happens with according to our choice, we oblige the God by recognizing His grace. And then we start thinking, see, I am, a God-fearing man. I always remember God. Please remember. Then something goes wrong. Krishna, this is the 5th floor. Remember. Headlong, tack. Why? The things did not happen according to what I wanted. See, I happened to meet one gentleman who came to Lonavala, and his some relation is studying there, a child in that yoga course. So when he came and he spent few days, and he says, Swamiji, I want to talk to you. Whenever anybody wants to talk to me, I start getting horripilation. I said, okay, start. More than anything, it is only telling, there is no talking. Swamiji, I'll tell you my daily dinacharya. I said, I don't want to know. How does it matter what you do or don't do? No, I want to tell. That means you suffer. I said, Bhagwan's prasad. And Swamiji, every day I read Ramcharitmanas. Every day I do this japa so many hours. Every day I do the puja. Every day I go to temple. Every day I feed grass to the cow. In Bombay everything is so professionally done. The cow and the grass is brought by the people on the doorstep. You pay, khilao, chalo. Standardization. I do all that. But I don't know. Everything is going wrong. Why I am deleted from God's grace? So I asked him, I said, kindly define God's grace. Swamiji, if this was this way, this was this way, this was this way, then it would have been better. I said, that is the whole problem, Poor God, He doesn't understand anything what is good for us. We all being typical Indians, we go to the doctor and suggest, Doctor, will you like to give me the antibiotics? Arey Baba, let the doctor decide. Isn't it? I think, if you give me this thing, kindly also give me the vitamins B complex, because I am already having acidity. And if you want to give me penicillin, I am already allergic. So the doctor gets frightened of the patient. My God, this fellow knows so much. See? In the same manner, I have done so many things, and yet everything is going the wrong way. Why? Why God has forsaken me from His grace? In short, our understanding of grace is, when things happen according to our choice, it is God's grace. When things don't happen according to our choice, it is God's disgrace. And this is where we are not having Buddhi Yoga. Now, what is the Buddhi Yoga? Buddhi Yoga is, all that happens in our life, good or bad, is only for our evolution. See, we see at our life between the two pillars of womb and tomb. But God looks at us beyond these two limits of birth and death. And He is trying to improve us, purify us by the treatment of joys and sorrows as required. There was a rock, and a sculptor was going. And there are so many stones. If you go to Hyderabad is the stony land, Big boulders and stones all around, like the people. So, one sculptor was going, and he stopped at one stone, looked at it. Wonderful. And took his hammer and chisel and started every day, tack. And that time, that rock was constantly cursing. There are so many stones around. I am the most unfortunate one. All the chiseling effect is only for me. What is wrong in me? What sin I have done? But the sculptor is like James Bond. Yesterday I told you, one person wrote me a letter and asked this question: how will you compare the equanimity of a Sthita Prajna from Bhagavad Gita and James Bond? So, he keeps on chiseling that rock. And with every additional stroke, there is a curse from that rock to this sculptor. Oh God! If I am a God, I will curse you first. But the God, the sculptor, it doesn't stop. He goes on hitting. And one day, that beautiful idol which comes out of it is taken away with a big procession and established in a big temple, and millions of people come and salute. That time, that idol, that rock says, so many rocks are around, but it is me alone who is being worshipped, who is being taken care of, who is respected the most. Other pieces of rocks are just not even recognized. People walk over them. Oh Lord, I did not know that time. Friends, please remember, every additional misery in our life is a polishing that is done by the Lord so that He can utilize us for His work. This is called as Buddhi Yoga. Discover the divine grace in and through every experience of our life. Then we are really intelligent. Intelligence is not looting others and becoming yourself happy. No, that is not intelligence. See? Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. And once our thought becomes God oriented, then nothing in this world is more important than remembering the Lord. Because good comes, we remember the Lord. Bad comes, we remember the Lord. Good comes, we remember the Lord. Bad comes, we remember the Lord. After some time, good and bad become secondary and remembrance of the Lord becomes primary. And after that, remembrance disappears and Lord alone remains. This is called as Buddhi Yoga. Because who is the Lord? Lord is the one who is functioning, supporting the relativity and yet not losing his non-dual existence. There is no other way than this. And how do we do this? It's a fun. You must have seen some movies. There was one drama, Marathi drama, long time back. Prabhakar Panshikar, I remember the actor. To me naves, I am not he. And every time he will come on the stage with a different character, play his role and go again another role. So when he is supporting so many roles, but he is not forgetting that he is the miserable husband of his terrible wife. He is not forgetting his identity. In the same manner, hold on to the absolute that you are and play the game of life. This is how all the great masters have done, and this is the only way. He who has understood this, he who is living this knowledge, is a Buddhi Yogi. Then the intelligence doesn't become a load. Therefore, dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. So, please remember, in this world, every small little thing that is happening in everybody's life has only one purpose. And the purpose is going back to your own source. But depending upon our buddhi, we have a different meaning and definition of the God's grace. If somebody is having knee problem, terrible knee problem, to that kneeled fellow, you ask him, how is God's grace on you? God's grace will be there if you can do something with my knees. Okay, you replace the knees. Then he replaces the knees. By God's grace, now I am all right. So his grace of God was limited to the knees. That's it. Another fellow, unable to get married, like us. All Babajis become Babaji because they fail to get married. There's no other reason. Failure in the worldly life is the success in the spiritual life. So, a person who is not getting married, for him, God's grace means, oh God, find out some kabutar for me, I am feeling so lonely. And then one kabutar comes in your life. Aha, by God's grace, Swami, I found out one. Now, one is an adjective or a noun, God knows, or a number. God's grace. A person who is poor, God's grace, I should get money. See? A person who is body oriented, I should live long. By God's grace, Swamiji, I am 99, not out. God's grace, living long life, because body I am. See? Emotional, Swamiji, by God's grace, my children look after me very well, They have not kicked me as yet. Bhagwan ki daya hai. It's all God's grace. See? God's grace is defined according to our buddhi, according to our intellect. Real God's grace is when every event, every experience of your life takes you nearer, one step to the Lord. If that is happening, then understand, then the real Buddhi Yoga is established. Dadami Buddhi Yogam tam. So when we go to the MBA, you know the meaning of MBA? You all must be knowing, you're all educated. Somebody told me, once I was in Pune, one girl came. I said, hey, what are you doing? Swamiji, I am doing MBA. I said, what is the meaning of this MBA? You don't know. I said, I know, but is it the same meaning? What is that you know? I said, me bekar ahe. No, Swamiji, it's not that meaning. I was in Bangalore thereafter. There was one World Peace Conference. And in that World Peace Conference, when I went there, a beautiful stage done and all that. And then those people said, Swamiji, how do you like the stage before we go on the stage? I said, why did you bring that kabutar there? You know the doe they bring to show the peace. Peace bird is doe. I said, do you know this kabutar is the worst kind of bird in the world? You know, it is considered as a very bad omen. Swamiji, please don't tell this on the stage. So when I went there, all that happened, one of my friend, he said, Swamiji, I am having some problem in my business and all that. Can you suggest me something? I said, you practice MBA. He said, what is this MBA? I said, Marwadi Brand Administration. And I gave him the mantra. How to do Marwadi Brand Administration. And within 6 months, he came out of all the problems that he had. He said, Swamiji, how do you know this? I said, Sarvagya, Sarvashakti. So, the meaning of the Buddhi Yoga is dependent on what is important for us. If the experience of divinity, perpetual, unbroken all the time, is the most important thing for me, then what is the grace of the Lord? The grace of the Lord, none of the worldly things ever disturb me, and my abidance in the absolute experience is never corrupted, although I am very much living in the midst of the total relativity. That is called as Buddhi Yoga. Dadami Buddhi Yogam tam yena mam upayantite. And when we develop our Buddhi for earning money, then we will construct a temple to earn money. When we are develop our Buddhi for earning money, then we will publish the books for earning money, not for the dissemination of knowledge. When we are trained, when our Buddhi is corrupted and dedicated only for the money, then we will have the great Katha organization only for collecting money. Look here. Because Buddhi is trained like that. Therefore, what is important for us? If for us, the Lord is the most important thing in this world, and if we really are in love with that divine experience, then everything that we do or we don't do will be directed only for one and one without a second purpose of our life, to discover the divine presence even in the most ugly experience of our life. And this we cannot understand. This is beyond understanding. So when we want to have the experience which is beyond understanding, you have to have Buddhi Yoga. That is what is they say, that bliss or peace which passeth beyond all understanding. This is what is called as Buddhi Yoga, Yena Mam Upayanti Te. And then, sir, how do you do this thing? Now see how beautiful the teacher says. Teshamevanu kampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayamyatma bhavastaha jnanadipena bhasvata. You know what I do? I illuminate the lamp of wisdom in their heart. They are not philosophers. You know, I recently, last year probably, had been to Pilani, BITS Pilani. And there, they have asked me to talk on half a dozen topics in 1-2 lectures. So I made a khichdi of the whole thing and spoke. And the topic was, that I finally coined was, religion, philosophy and spirituality. So religion is that where God is absent. Philosophy is that where wisdom is absent. Spirituality is that where there is a perfect synthesis of God and wisdom. See, philosophy is delayed wisdom. Like, you know, we have got these days some tablets. They are released, delayed release. You take one tablet, whole day it goes on releasing the medicine. Similarly, when the married people tell the unmarried people, hey, don't get married, there is nothing in that. This statement of a married man or this advice of a married man to the unmarried person is a philosophy. Why? He has understood it, but little late. That's why delayed wisdom is called as philosophy. That is why all the old people are the best philosophers. On the contrary, when you grow old, you don't grow wise, you grow philosopher. So, Jnanadipena bhasvata. Please remember, when philosophy is applied in our life and lived as an experience, it is called as wisdom. Very simple. So when we have collected this much of knowledge, that the whole world is standing mattahaf, in me alone. Without I, there is no existence possible. So if I is the foundation of the total world, and if the world is the extension of the supreme I, where is the place of likes and dislikes, friends and enemy, ours and not ours? Everything dissolves. And when we start living that knowledge in our life, then jnanadipena bhasvata. Such a person, the teacher says, tesham evanukampartham. So by sheer love and compassion for such sincere seekers of truth, I come in their life in the form of wisdom. See, Bhagwan reveals himself for the sincere seeker in the form of wisdom. Be very attentive. Who is a wise man? Bhagwan Sri Krishna has defined a number of places. The first place he defines, Gatasu na gatasuscha nanu shochanti panditaha. Wise man is he who does not grieve for the living or for the dead. The grief is for the dead natural. No, even for the living, marta bhi nahi. Isn't it? In short, if the Lord is expressing as wisdom in our bosom, we refuse to be miserable in this world. Very simple equation. How do we know whether the Lord's grace is showering on us or not? How do we know that the Buddhi Yoga is established in our life or not? May the whole world be on fire, but the equanimity of our wisdom cannot be corrupted, if it is on the foundation of this knowledge, what was said by the Lord, etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo vetti tatvataha. Then only that wisdom is lived. When wisdom is left, it is philosophy. When philosophy is lived, it is wisdom. See how beautiful it is. The one story you all must be knowing, there was a young king who just took over from his father after he passed away, and then the old minister was with him. And the old people have got some or the other habits. Like I have got a habit of playing with my daddy. One girl told me after my lecture in Ahmedabad, Swami, why do you hold on to your daddy? I said, because you don't have, what can I do? I have to hold on to something. If you have daddy, I will hold it on. No reason, just a habit. So old people also have got some habits. Now this old minister had an habit that anything happens, he used to say, oh, thank God, your grace is indeed great. That was his, by default, he used to say like. So, one day the king was coming down the palace along with this old man, and he, because it was a so big gown and all that, and freshly become king, so he toppled and fell down. All the steps he rolled down. And then afterwards, when this old minister went down, he saw that his finger is broken completely and he was in a very miserable condition. Oh, by default he said, thank God, everything is good by God's grace. Now that king got so angry. First thing he did, put him behind the bar. So when he was put behind the bar, he said, thank God, everything is good by God's grace. And then he went after a few days for hunting, because the kings can kill only. So he went for hunting the poor animals. And there it so happened he was lost with from the group and caught hold by these kapalikas who offer the human body as a naivedya sacrifice. So they caught hold of this king, gave bath, everything, and completely undressed, and then to be offered to the Mother Kali. So the pujari came and started seeing whether it is untouched or it is already used by somebody. And when he started seeing the body, he found left hand small finger is not there, because it was broken and chopped off. He said, this cannot be offered to the mother because this is used already. Jhuta prasad Bhagwan ko nahi chada. So he was not sacrificed, came back. Then the king started thinking, hey, that old man said, all that happens is for the good, God's grace. Really, had my finger been intact, I would have been gone today. Then he goes to the prison. He said, I understand what you said about me. But when I put you behind the bar, you also said the same thing. Thank God, everything is good by God's grace. What is good to you? He said the best, not only good. Why? Had I not been inside the jail, you would have asked me to come with you. And I am intact. So you were saved, but I would have been sacrificed. God's grace is always there. Friends, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. This is the Buddhi Yoga when we are leading every experience of our life in the light of wisdom. Jnanadipena Bhasvata. When we start living our life lightly in the light of wisdom, we are the wisest people in this world. But what happens? Like in a small room, little bit of something dirty, it starts stinking badly. But when it is a total open space, nothing ever disturbs. In the same manner, if we come out of the small little experiences of our life and merge with the Lord, you will see our experiences become meaningless. Because without Him, even the bad experience is not possible. Without him, even the good experience is not possible. So every experience is the reminder of the Lord. See, this also I told you one. Punjabis have got very huge body and bad knees. Because of the huge body, the knees become bad. In Delhi, one old Amma, every time the same question. Why do I have this knee pain? Please tell me. Now what can you tell? Take it lightly. No, how can you take it lightly? I said, okay. Answer my questions. Simple questions you can answer. What for the eyes are? For seeing. What for the ears are? For hearing. Knees are for paining. That's the only purpose of the knees. There is no other purpose. When you die, they will not pain. So you understand you are still alive. Celebrate life. This is called as the wisdom with which we live, and when we are able to laugh at ourselves, then the world cannot laugh at you. When you are ashamed of laughing at yourself, then the world gets inspiration to laugh at you. Isn't it? If I laugh at my Gandhi part, you cannot make me miserable on that account, because I already laughed. See? This is such a simple way of living. So when we start living our life in the light of wisdom, we lead a light life. Bindas, Bombay ka shabd. Happy go lucky. Don't become serious. The day you learn this art of laughing in spite of the miseries around, you have grown wise. So with age, we need not grow wise. With age, we grow old. How do we grow wise? When the Buddhi Yoga is operating, and as a result, from every experience of our life, we learn. The process of learning is continuous. And when you keep on learning from your own experiences of life, you start growing wise and not old. Old people are not wise, and wise people are never old. See how simple it is. So, Teshamevanukampartam ahamajnanajam tamaha nashayami. And why all these things happens? Because of ajnanam, identity crisis. These things happen, good and bad, in everybody's life. But we feel as if this is the blind end of our life. Have patience, have faith in Him, and lead your life in the light of wisdom. Then you will see there is no problem whatsoever that can destroy you. After having said all what the Lord has to say, now Arjuna takes over and he says, Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rushayas Sarve Devarshir Naradas Tatha Asito Devalo Vyasaha Swayam Chaiva Bravishime Sarvametad Rutam Manne Yanmam Vadasi Keshava Nahite Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidur Devana Danavaha Swayamevatmanatmanam Vethatvam Purushottama Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesha Deva Deva Jagatpate Vaktumarhasya Sheshena Divyayhatma Vibhutayaha Yabhir Vibhuti Bhir Lokan Imam Stvam Vyapyatishtasi Katham Vidyamaham Yogin Tvam Sada Parichintayan Keshu Keshu Cha Bhaveshu Chintyosi Bhagavan Maya Vistarenatmano Yogam Vibhutim Cha Janardanam Bhuyak Kathayatruptirhi Shrunvato Nasti Memrutam. In this 6-7 verses, Arjuna is expressing that, O Lord, what you have said about you is absolutely true. Like the disciples and the devotees give certificate to the Guru Maharaj. 1008 Mahamandaleshwar. Guru Maharaj never writes. It is the certificate given by the chelas and the devotees. Isn't it? Prata Smaraniya or Ananta Shri Vibhushita. This is the certificate given by the disciples to the Guru. The same technique here. Arjun says, Bhagwan, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. You are that supreme absolute reality where there is no corruption of duality. You are that absolute knowledge. You are that absolute bliss. And you are that immortal divine expression. You are that unborn, all-pervading reality. And thus, all the saints and sages say about you, so also the Devarshi Naradaha and other rishis like Asita, Devala, Vyasa, and you also told the same thing. And therefore, I accept whatever you have said about you, the reality is true. And this your aspect of your remaining in the yoga and expressing as the vibhuti is very difficult to comprehend even for the most intelligent people in this world. I agree. And hey Bhagwan, only you can know yourself. How you are remaining in the absolute and how you are supporting the relative existence, and yet you are not getting corrupted or influenced by the relativity. Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesha Deva Deva Jagatpate. Oh, the king of the world, how you are doing it, you alone know your ways. Therefore, Vaktum Arasi Asheshena Divya Yatma Vibhutaya. Therefore, O Lord, I am requesting you. Now, a time has come. I am not able to comprehend the absolute to begin with. Therefore, kindly start instructing me the vibhuti, your glory in this world. Now see, be very attentive. This is a very simple example which will make your point clear about the absolute and the relative. This example I gave you earlier in other context. See, the teacher or the mother is interested in teaching the child the numbers, the sums, the totals. That is the interest of the teacher and the mother. But the child's interest is the chocolates. See, the interests are different. So if that mother or the teacher has to teach summation, what they will do? First of all, find out where is the interest of the child. Interest of the child is in chocolate. So then the child recognizes chocolate very well. Then they said, what is this? This chocolate? No, this is one chocolate. Okay, give me. How does it matter whether you call it 1 or 10? I am not interested. My interest is in chocolate. But the teacher says, no, this is one chocolate. Say, okay, this is one chocolate, give me. Now, again the teacher takes out another chocolate. This is chocolate. No, what did I tell you? Okay, this is one chocolate. Slowly, that one is given to the child. Attention of the child is to the chocolate. See? And then the summation is taught. How many chocolates are these? This is one chocolate. This is one chocolate. So, these are two chocolates. One chocolate plus one chocolate is equal to two chocolates, the child says. Homework is given. And homework is given. One banana plus one banana, how many bananas? And the child is seriously sitting. Mother says, Beta, what is the problem? Problem, Mama, you won't understand. It's very difficult mathematics. What is the problem? Let me know. The teacher asks, one banana plus one banana, what is the reply? Oh, it is so simple. It is 2. I knew you will say that. What Papa says about you is right. You just don't understand anything. But how it is wrong, my dear child? One banana plus one banana? No. One chocolate plus one chocolate is equal to two chocolates. Our teacher didn't say banana. See, his problem is very serious. We can never understand that. So what the teacher is doing? Finding out the areas of interest for the child and then slowly leading him to the subtle concepts of mathematics. So, from the chocolates, when you learn the summation, you are going from the glory to the yoga. See? The absolute cannot be understood by us at this stage because we are so much buried in the relativity. See how problematic it is. So what does scriptures tell? See the absolute in the relativity. How it is possible? Start from your home. How? Pippi, Pippyai Namaha. You know, Devi is Ikaranta Strilingi Shabda. Om Devyai Namaha. Isn't it? Pippi means Pati Parameshwara. Start seeing God in the husband. Swamiji, don't cut such serious jokes. Seeing God in that husband? Impossible. I can tolerate any insult, not this one. Isn't it? That means I am ready to see the God in a stone which I have bought, but my husband and God, it's impossible. See? Therefore, here the teacher will be giving, this is Arjuna's question. Sir, kindly tell me, where do I see you? You may tell me, everywhere God is, I see nowhere. Then tell me some technique by which I will start suspecting the divinity in this total world of relativity. Therefore, he asks, Vaktum arhasi asheshena divyayatma vibhutayaha. O Lord, where is your glory? Where is your divine glory? Manifest distinctly, kindly show me. And also, Yabhir vibhuti bihi lokan imam tvam vyapyatishtasi. And how your glory is manifest in the total world. To understand that the total world is the expression of the absolute reality, you have to start slowly, step by step, step by step. So kindly tell me, how do I know? And also tell me, Katham vidyamaham yogin tvam sada parichintayan keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya. Hey yogin, hey Bhagavan, kindly tell me, which are those manifestations where I can start suspecting your presence? Please tell me that, so that I will be able to think about you all the time. And don't tell in short, okay? Then Vistarenatmano yogam vibhutim cha janardana. Hey Janardana, Janardana means, Jana means Maya. The one who creates is called as Jana. Ardana means destruction. The one who is the destroyer of the illusion of the duality. To that Lord the address is made. Hey Janardana, kindly tell me Vibhutim and Yogam. Now this is very important thing to understand. There's two words. Yoga is recognition of the divinity at the level of your own personal immediate experience. When we recognize the divinity as our experience, it is the yoga. And when we are able to recognize the divinity in the total objective world, it is the vibhuti. And when these two things come together, it is called as vibhuti yoga. Three things happen. So, O Lord, kindly tell me, Vistarenatmano yogam vibhutim cha janardana bhuja kathaya druptihi shrunumato nasti me mritam. And this is another important thing. I am not tired of listening to you. I am enough ho gaya. Let us have some cup of tea. No. See what happens. Bhagwan has told Arjun that those who have love for this, they will never get tired. Now here Arjun says, I am not tired of listening to you. Now be very attentive to this very important point. This I have, and all of us must have suffered. When we go to somebody's place and always there is some useless child. Now for that mother, that useless child is the highest achievement of life. And when the child starts blabbering something, blah, 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 blah. Swamiji, do you know what he is telling? As he is telling nothing, blah, blah. It is not a language, not even a Thai language. Swamiji, do you know what he is telling? Mama, I love you. I said, no dictionary can give the meaning, blah, 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 means Mama, I love you. No, Swamiji, what he says, Daddy, I don't like you. Ram, Ram. And then slowly the child is growing. Now see, because of love, the meaningless blabbering is honored as an expression of love by the child. See? And then the child starts growing. And then when we go, our children, my child is so sweet. What is the sweetness? He can chant Sanskrit shloka. That is the sweetness. The Tameva Mata, just say beta, Tameva Mata. The child doesn't say. And their mummy only says everything. And says, see how nicely he said. No, said, not he, you said. Now this particular drama, that mother does with every available victim. Isn't it? And she repeats it not once, not twice, but 100 times. And yet, she doesn't get bored to tell the same thing again and again and again. Because love for the child. See? I was in one of the universities in States. One professor asked me this question. Since how many years you are giving lectures? I said, many years. I have no service record anywhere. He said, don't you get bored on talking on the same topic all the time? I said, no, I don't get bored. He said, I am teaching philosophy and I feel sometimes I am getting bored, and probably that is the reason why the student get bored. And therefore, my class begins with 20 students and ends with me only. Ekameva Advitiya. The glory has gone, yoga is there. So how come you are able to hold on the audience for such a long time, and that to our American students? How come you have so much interest? I said, look here. When you are talking about concepts, you will get bored. When you talk about the self, you will never get bored. See how important it is. Therefore, O Lord, tell me, I am not tired of listening. Because when I listen from you, I know you are talking about me. One person asked me this question somewhere. Swamiji, what is the reason that we like to be in the company of the Mahatmas? We like to go and attend satsang. What is that we get happiness there? I said, I'll tell you the truth. He said, yes. I said, because only in the satsang and the Mahatmas tell us that you are Satchidananda Parabrahma Paramatma. Everywhere condemns us, isn't it? So at least there is one place where there is the suspicion that we are divine. Isn't it? And therefore we like that. There is no other reason. Therefore, Bhuyak kathaya truptirhi shrunvato nasti me mritam. I am not tired of listening your immortal words of wisdom. Now, in reply to this inquiry, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the Lord tells, Hantate kathayishyami divyayatma vibhutayaham pradhanyata kuru sreshta nastyanto vistarasya me. Hantate kathayishyami. Come on, Arjun, be ready to listen now. Is not karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. I have asked the question, now you reply, I sleep. Don't activate. Don't become a catalyst. Become a participant when I am telling you something. Hantate kathayishyami. Please remember, the process of learning demands complete participation of the teacher and the student together. And this complete togetherness is possible only under two conditions. Condition number one, the student has extreme love, faith, reverence for the teacher and the subject matter. And second, the teacher have absolute love, respect and honor and compassion for the student. When these two things come together, then only the transfer of knowledge is possible. Otherwise, if the teacher is teaching and a student has this attitude, देखते हैं, try मारते हैं. So when you are just trying to pass time, let us see what he says. Because so many Mahatmas have heard and kept them. Nothing can change me. With this attitude, we will never learn. Similarly, when the teacher is giving the lecture, if he has this attitude, all these same fellows, I don't know whether they understand or not, whether they are coming to be benefited. Anyway, they have come to pass time, I have to pass time. Parasparam pasayanta. So, the teacher is passing the students and students are passing the time and time pass show ho raha hai. No. So here the teacher says, my dear Arjun, I shall definitely tell you, be attentive and listen with complete involvement. Whenever we are not able to grasp in one go, we require a lot of polishing. There is one story which comes in Tripura Rahasya. There the disciple is Parshuram Bhagavan, and he has destroyed these Kshatriyas 21 times, and again Ramachandra came, and therefore he was so disgusted. Again this fellow has come, he went to kill Rama, but he was defeated. When he was defeated, he became disgusted and went to Malayagiri Parvat. And when he went there, then he came across one saint. In the very vicinity of the saint, he experienced divine bliss. And he went and asked, Sir, what is this I am experiencing? I was so disturbed, tortured. Please tell me what it is. That Mahatma explains. Sir, my experience is exactly what you are telling, but I am not able to understand what you told me. Will you please repeat? That Mahatma says, look here, you are such an intelligent student, and I am a Dumbo Mahatma. I am not able to come to your level of intelligence. Therefore, you go to Dattatreya Bhagwan. He is a very good teacher. And he passes on that student to that Dattatreya Bhagwan, and then he goes on telling him stories after stories after stories. So when Bhagwan is telling, Hantate Kathaishyami, come on, I am going to tell you, be attentive, and in one go you catch it. Don't again and again repeat. That is such a tragedy. If somebody asks you to, like many places they ask, Swamiji, that joke you told, in that lecture, in today's lecture, will you please repeat it? Now, I don't know which lecture is telecast and what joke it is, and jokes are not told. There was a Sardarji. It's not a joke. It should happen in the flow of thought. That is called as wisdom and humor. So, Hantate Kathaishyami. Be very attentive. I shall tell you my divine glory. Divyayatma vibhutayaha pradhanyataha. You have asked me to tell in exhaustive details. I am sorry. It's not possible. I shall tell you the most important one which will catch your mind. Pradhanyataha kuru shreshta. Why you are not telling exhaustively? Because na asti antaha me vistarasya. Because there is no end to my glory. Now tell me, if we go and talk to ocean and tell him, Ocean Bhagwan, kindly tell us all about all the waves in the past, all the waves in the present, and all the waves in the future that is going to come. Because you know everything. So kindly tell us about all the waves. What the ocean will say? Yes, that's a good question you ask, but I cannot tell you all the waves about everything. In short, I can tell you. Because there is no end to the past, present and the future. Therefore, pradhanyataha kuru sreshta nastyanto vistarasya me. Now he starts this. Ahamatma gudakesha sarva bhutashaya sthitaha ahamadischa madhyamcha bhutanamanta evacha. Now, the first glory of the Absolute is through the expression of the relative individual. Meaning, every one of us is the mobile temple of the divinity. Never condemn, curse yourself. As we should not condemn and curse anybody in this world, we should never condemn and curse ourselves. Never say that dirty prayer, Papoham Papa Karmam. Why Papa? Why not Dad? You know, Gujaratis, when they call Dad in USA, they say dead. Because you know, snacks are called as snake. No? Hall is called as hole. So Dad is called as the dead. He is my dad. Still alive? Yes. So, this papoham papa karmaham, get out of that negativity. Aham atma gudakesha. When the Lord is ready to say that I am residing in the heart of everyone, we deny His presence in our heart. There cannot be more sin than this. Therefore, start seeing my glory in yourself first. Sarva bhutashaya sthita. It is not only among the Brahmins or Kshatriyas or Muslims or the Christians. No. In the heart of every being, the same reality is throbbing in the form of life. Aham atma gudakesha. Gudakesha Arjun. Why is called as Gudakesha? Because Arjun was a person who had conquered his sleep. Therefore, is called as Gudakesha. Conquering sleep means what? I can sleep anytime. No. Conquering sleep means he who is all the time alert. The best example in the life of Arjuna comes when he was shooting at the eye of the bird. He was the only student who said that other than the eye of the bird, I see nothing. That single pointed attention of alert, vigilant and quiet mind is called as conquering the sleep. So, hey Gudakesha, first recognize that you are the same reality as a listener to me, which I am the reality as a speaker to you. Aham atma Gudakesha sarva bhutashaya sthitaha, and aham adischa madhyamcha bhutanam anta evacha. I am the beginning, I am the middle, and I am the end. The ocean says, I am the beginning of every wave, I am the middle of every wave, and I am the end of every wave. Because waves are abuses implanted on the ocean. Jiva is an abuse given to the God. See, in Bhagavad today we were studying, when our attention is on the samskar, impressions on the mind, then we consider ourselves to be good and bad. But when our attention is on the conscious principle, which is throbbing through us, in and through every experience, then it is called as the jiva. So instead of getting lost into the impressions on the mind, focus attention on that conscious principle which is illuminating all the experiences. And when who is the jiva is inquired, you come to discover that you are the same reality which is in and through every good and bad experience. And with any experience, this reality does not get influence. The illuminator is never influenced. Isn't it? When I see the different colors and forms, eyes are not influenced. When I hear all the words, ears are not influenced. When I hear so much of wisdom, mind is not influenced. Untouched. And that is the secret. Whenever you learn in a satsanga, you are growing wise. But when you only collect information so that you can blast the same joke in another lecture, then you are collecting impressions. Therefore, ahamadischa madhyamcha bhutanam anta evacha. And he continues further. This will take in our tomorrow's concluding class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.